Hello my dears and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be unboxing not one, not two, but 3 envelopes of vintage patterns that I bought from eBay. All right, my dears, it's official. We finally get to unbox all of these envelopes of patterns. Now, each one of these groupings of patterns I did get off of eBay. I bid on them. One of them, the largest envelope, I believe I got in March. The second envelope, I think I got in April or May. It looks like the end of April according to postage. And this is the latest envelope that I got just this week, which unfortunately is missing a small piece in the pattern, but I'm really excited for this one and excited to possibly try my hand at some drafting against the picture on the pattern. So let's go ahead and start by diving right in. I've already gotten the top of this envelope open. Let's go ahead and get the rest open. All right, and let's go ahead. We'll just get our secondary camera set up here. There we go. A few technical difficulties, but we'll work through them. Make sure it's bright enough so you guys can really see all of these. All right, so I think let's go ahead and start with the single pattern that I recently picked up because it's honestly the only one I remember. So I frequently go on eBay and I check to see, are there some patterns that perhaps I don't have in my stash or don't have something similar to in my stash? I'm always looking for something that might be a little bit different. I'm also generally looking for different sizes. Vintage patterns tend to be very easy to find in size 30 to 32 bust, even 34, and 36 is becoming more common. I'm not sure if people are letting go of more of those patterns, but they didn't used to be so easily found. However, I have quite a few friends and family members and just people that I love in general that are 38, 40, 42 bust. And so I do tend to keep an eye out for some of those patterns. And I know that I have bid on quite a few lots that had at least 1 or 2 patterns in those sizes recently. And I'm hoping that one of these envelopes is one of those bids that I made, because I think I did win one where we did get a couple of patterns in those sizes that I thought were really beautiful patterns and that I thought I might like to make up. So we'll start here with this one. And this, oh, it came with a very cute little postcard here. You can see here from Vintage For Me Too. Oh, and on the back a really nice measurement card. So this is actually really great. When I was at university, we used to have a card similar to this that whenever we were making a costume for someone, we would gather all of their measurements, and this is very similar. This is much nicer actually than what we had, and this is a really great thing. I would probably recommend checking out their website and seeing if they just have these in stock, because if you were going to be making something for someone and you wanted to go over, measure before you started making, this would be a really wonderful card to take with you. You could fill everything in and then you'd be set to go with your pattern. You've got the measurements of the person you're taking, the measurements from the pattern, and any adjustments that need to be made that you would be able to translate directly into your pattern when you're making it. Really cool. Thank you for that really cool postcard. And now for the pattern, the pièce de résistance. This is an Ann Adams pattern, and I do love a good Ann Adams pattern. Let me see if I can brighten this up for you guys a little bit. There we go. Much better. So this, I bought this pattern knowing that it is missing a piece, and I'm a little bit bummed that it's missing a piece, but I bought it anyway because of this. It looks like a romper. I'm not sure about that. We're going to have to take a quick look at the instructions for it. It may in fact be a blouse and a pair of shorts, but it looks like a romper and I got so excited. Now the bummer is that the pieces that are missing are, I think, 2 pieces from the shorts, unfortunately, but I'd like to try my hand at a bit of drafting after looking at the pattern pieces that they have listed and drawn out here for us. I also have a couple of shorts patterns in my vintage stash. I think a simplicity pair and maybe even another Ann Adams pattern that has shorts. And I'd like to compare what their drawings look like on their instructions to the drawings here and see if I can pull those out if they get close and if I can draft out something that will be similar so that I can make this pattern, because I think it's a very, very cute pattern with the romper and the overdress. Let's take a look and make sure it actually is a romper. All right, so we have blouse, shorts, yes, there it is. Attaching the blouse directly to the shorts. It is officially a romper, a vintage romper, and I absolutely love it. I think it's very, very cute. And I can't wait to try drafting out these shorts, because I think if it's anything like the drawing, it's going to have a nice, you know, billowy feel. They're not going to be tight fitted shorts. They're going to have some nice volume around the bottom of them, almost like a little skirt, which I will be more comfortable in, but then having them be shorts makes it really comfortable because I'm not worried about a skirt flying up. I also like having something during the really hot summer months between my legs so they're not rubbing together. That's a comfort issue, but I'm really excited about this pattern. And the pattern itself here looks like it's in very good condition. I don't see any watermarks, any staining. It really looks nice. She even included the original envelope, even though it's a little bit shattered on the edges and won't fit in it anymore. So that's really nice. And then having it in this lovely plastic to keep it safe is really great. So pattern number 1, Ann Adams. Pattern grouping number 2 here. All right, so got a nice bag around the patterns to keep them nice and protected. And right off the top, we've got a beautiful advanced pattern. The lovely, beautiful blouse. I love the volume in these sleeves. And this collar here, this rounded collar, my mother used to call that a Peter Pan collar. I don't know if that's the official term for it, but it's how I remember what it is. This is interesting. It has a double pocket. I'm not so sure about that, but I really do like the collar on it, and I love the volume of those sleeves. Very dramatic, kind of romantic looking, especially if you made it out of the right fabric. That's a beautiful pattern. A little bit eaten up at the edges. Some of the pattern pieces look a little bit crumpled. The instructions are there, and it says that the pattern is all there, so we're gonna trust them. All right, next up, another blouse pattern. This might be a whole thing of blouses. Make sure this is staying nice and bright for you guys. Also an advanced pattern. And this is just a very basic, lovely blouse pattern. Inset sleeves. I really like this gathering detail across the top of the shoulders. Fairly common in the 40s and 50s. And I think it creates a really beautiful silhouette in the blouse. And gives it movement that makes it comfortable to wear all day. Really lovely. Pattern. Yep. All blouses. I was on a blouse kick this day, apparently, the day that I got this one. But okay, so I do like both of these patterns. I'm going to say that right off the bat. I like this one. Look, you can see some similarities. They both have this gathering across the top here. This one has a higher collar and a smaller collar. And I think I actually like this blouse pattern more because it does kind of gently open at the top. It has a slightly larger collar, which is going to have a slightly more dramatic look. Still has a really nice inset sleeve, still has some nice volume at the bottom. But I like this collar a lot. And again, pattern all here. So we're going to hope that it really is. All of these envelopes in this one are a little beat up. Oh, they've got writing on them. I think they'll be okay. Just tuck that in. Tuck that bad boy in. Don't get hurt. I want to use you later. Next up, oh, cozy wear. All of these blouse patterns were advanced patterns as well. But this is like a sweatshirt. It's like a vintage sweatshirt. We have hoodies now, obviously, but this is really cute. If you made this out of a nice cozy sweatshirt material or sweater material, this would be both cute and cozy and vintage, which is just lovely. I like this detailing here on the front. And of course, we've still got these gathers at the top. So you couldn't use a very thick material. It would have to be kind of thin, but maybe a nice flannel. What do they recommend? Oh, corduroy, denim, velveteen, poplin, sailcloth, wool plaid. Yes. I think corduroy and denim would definitely have to be this one where you don't have anything tucking it in. Poplin, you could definitely do this look here and have like a nice little cinched in waist, but I think a nice wool, a soft brushed wool, would be really cozy and so warm. You could throw this on with a cute little blouse and a pair of vintage trousers and look fantastic and be cozy. Next, 1940s victory suit, simplicity. This is a size 16, so it is, in terms of the skirt, a little bit small for me. The top, the jacket, and the blouse pattern would be fine for me, but it wouldn't take too much to alter the hips out on this one. And this is just a really lovely pattern with a nice collar here. I don't know if I've seen too many from the 40s without a collar on the jackets. Now I'm interested to go through my stash because I'm just looking at this thinking, gosh, that doesn't have a collar. And they've got it modeled with a nice little knit jumper, which of course we know from the 40s, knit jumpers became extremely popular, and they became popular to wear under things, to wear under jumpers like this one, to wear under jackets and so forth. And that's exactly how they're modeling it here. And that's awfully cute, but I do have to say, if I was going to make this one, which I really might have to, I do love the houndstooth in this one here. It's really stunning in the houndstooth. And if you watched the sales racks, if we watched the sales racks during the summer to see if we could pick some up on sale, we could have it ready for winter. Might have to do that one. Beautifully fitted jacket. Another 1940s, also size 16, simplicity. Not quite a straight skirt, but not a lot of volume, which again, the 40s, in the early 40s, obviously we're in wartime, we're in rationing mode. I'm not sure exactly when in the 40s, but this would follow right along with that, not really needing to have a ton of fabric in the skirt, not having a lot of volume, but adding volume in this peplum part of the jacket here to create that dimension in the hips, to create that femininity without having to have it in the skirt. Just very cute. And this is nice. It's a nice like summer look, but I must say this one is the one. This little keyhole in the top with the bow, very, very cute. And then one more. This may be later in the 40s. I feel like this hairstyle, a little bit more volume in the skirt, could be late 40s, early 50s. But these styles here, these squared shoulders, kind of say 40s. And this is like the 40s version of like a t-shirt or a shirt dress, right? But I really like that they've got the pleats in the sides. I have quite a few patterns from this period where it has like a center pleat, like the skirt that we made for the All Creatures Great and Small outfit. But I like that these ones are on the sides here. I think that's a really lovely look. Really beautiful. And I like that it's an inset sleeve on the summer wear. Sometimes they did, well, many times they did have this here where they just kind of extended it out and then it would kind of come over the side. But this has an actual inset sleeve for the summer dress, and I think that's just really lovely. Really beautiful. All right, so that's 2 envelopes down, which means we've got 1 envelope left. Let's see what we can come up with here. Right off the top, a Jiffy pattern, which is great. Jiffy patterns are easy patterns. They were sold as easy patterns. It was, hey, you only have to be able to know how to cut 2 pieces and put them together and you've got a beautiful garment. This one here would be very similar to the dress that we made last year for the family reunion, which I love. I wear that dress all the time and I get a lot of compliments on it. And we do have a larger size 18 to 20. So, and because this is not a 14, or sorry, a 1940s size 18, this is a 1960s, 1970s size 18. So it is going to be for a bust of 38 to 40. So instead of being a size 34 to 36, it's going to be a 36 to 40. So we are getting a little bit larger in those sizes, which is awesome because that really opens up the availability of this pattern and being able to make this pattern for myself or others. And it's just a very simple pattern. Like I said, I get a lot of compliments on that other dress that I made last year in the linen. It's very straight, but once you like cinch it in with the belt, it just looks so lovely. Next up we have, this is a simplicity pattern. This looks like, well, these bangs maybe are a little Farrah Fawcett. Otherwise I'd say with the picture we're maybe moving into the late 70s, early 80s. This is also size 18 and 20. This is bust 40 to 42. And here in these drawings here, you're like, oh, that's cute. That's a nice summer look. But here, gosh, you can really make that look awfully sexy too. So that's a beautiful pattern, a really beautiful pattern. And it can be made no sleeves, short sleeve, long sleeve, can be made knee length or floor length. Buttons all the way down the front, really lovely. And another size 18, this is also a bust of 40. So this is definitely that grouping of patterns that I bid on that I did have. I'm cheating and looking at the top of the next one. It's also a larger size. So this is really great. And these aren't like large sizes, but they're just a little bit larger than, like I said, many of those other patterns that you can typically find very easily in vintage patterns, which is like the 38, 32, 34 bust. And a lot of that is because those are transitional sizes for many women. You kind of go through those in your late teens, early 20s, and then you kind of grow out of them. And so they just happen to stick around because they don't get as much use. Once we start moving into some of the larger sizes, you tend to see those patterns being used over and over again. People buy them, they like them, they use them a ton of times, and then they're not really good for resale because the patterns have been used so many times they're falling apart. So I can link down in the description below a couple of other creators who are far more educated on pattern sizing than I am, including Abby Cox and Nicole Rudolph and Stephanie Canada, and they all kind of talk about finding vintage sizes for you and and finding what is really out there versus what was really there at the time. Thinking that sometimes we get the impression that these larger sizes, people weren't these larger sizes, when in reality, it was definitely there. They just got used a ton. So this is a lovely pattern. This is just a very sweet shirt pattern, easy peasy. Does it come with the slacks too? Oh, it does. Look at that. Shirt and pants. Doo-doo. And it does have a zipper in the back of the blouse, so they are expecting you to make this blouse out of something that is not very forgiving. But I would say if you were to make this and you made it out of a nice knit material, you would probably be able to make this without the zipper, which is pretty great as well. Next, another size 40 to 42 in a simplicity pattern. And this, actually, we may have this pattern already in the stash that I looked at and considered when I was making the nursing uniform for Kit Wilson for my aunt's book. This is very similar to another pattern that I have, but I believe I do have it in a size 32-34 bust. So this is kind of great to see this same pattern in the 40 to 42 bust. And it comes, of course, with shirt and pants or the dress. And I like this neckline on the dress here. That's really lovely, that V-neck. With or without the collar. Oh, watch your fingers. Let's just take that pin out. We don't need that. We don't need to accidentally stab ourselves later with that. Pattern pieces. A lot of pattern pieces. Might have to go through that. That seems like more than it should have in there. But there are instructions in there, which is good, so we know that that should at least have that. All right, we've got a McCall's, also very similar. I'm wondering, these are probably all going to be 60s and 70s here in these patterns. Bust of 40. Similar here, similar to both of these. But this one has these princess seams here. This one is a straight fit. This one has the straight fit, but we've got a nice detail up here on the over portion of the bust. But similar side seams, bust seams here. That sheath dress, very, very popular in the 60s and 70s. Lovely pattern. Easy pattern. Those patterns in particular, if you are new and you really want to make a beautiful vintage inspired garment and you like this style, give it a go. This is a good one to start with. These ones, okay? Not very many pieces. Comes together quickly and you look great. They just look great when you're done with them. All right, we've got a butterick pattern here. Also in a similar sheath dress. I'm not sure you can get a better view on these ones. They have like these little belts here across the front, which is a very cute detail. And then they model it, of course, with the blouse under it, just like I'm wearing right now. Bust of 40 on these as well. Nice big pockets on the sides of some of them. You can do it with sleeves or without. We've got a nice scoop neck here, or a square neck, or a V-neck. So actually a very nice diverse pattern, actually. This person pinned all of their patterns. Ouch. This one's a little, I think this one was used quite a bit. It's a little junked up. This was a loved pattern, probably because it's so versatile. With a belt, without a belt, with pockets, without a pocket, square neck, round neck, V-neck. But another good one here. Not too many pieces to have to cut out and keep track of. You don't have to inset the sleeves if you don't want to. Yeah, every single one of these patterns is pinned. I'm going to have to go through and get all the pins out later. This is a lovely Simplicity bonus basic pattern in half sizes. Size 18.5, which is a 41 bust. Lovely. Also in that sheath dress pattern. Again, if you're making one of these dresses, of course, at the time, I think a lot of them may have been made out of like rayons, a little bit more structured or stiff materials because they are shown with zippers in the back. But if you made this out of a nice knit, a comfortable jersey, you could make a really lovely dress and not have to have a zipper. Have a little bit of stretch, and then it would snap back. Only a few more. There we go. 20.5, also a half size. Let's focus. There it goes. Basic pattern. Now this one is a little bit more fitted. We've seen quite a few of these sheath dresses that are not fitted. This is a solid piece here. This one, we're going to have, goodness, it keeps going out of focus on me. We're going to have this blouse at the top, a fitted skirt at the bottom. It's really having a hard time focusing. There we go. So this one you would need in a pattern like this. You're going to need to have a little bit more skill based because you're going to need to make sure that the skirt is fitted properly. The waist of the blouse top is fitted properly before you put them together. But once you do, it's going to have a very sleek, very professional look. All right. Oh, and a flowy one. After all those lovely straight dresses, something a little bit fun and flowy for summer. Simplicity pattern, very cute. I feel like this is like the prom dresses from that 70s show that the Jackie and Kelso Jackie wears. It's very fluffy and flouncy. Of course, you can wear it in 2 different lengths. And I bet you could even go without the flounce on the top if you really wanted to. The collar, they're calling it a collar. But it's just a sleeveless bodice, which is fairly simple. You don't have to worry about any inset sleeves. It's a nice bell-shaped skirt. Pattern pieces look like they're in very good condition. This could just be a really sweet dress to wear to a garden tea party. I love it. I like that one a lot. That's a good one. And that's it. The envelope is empty. But gosh, that was a lot of really wonderful patterns, and we really spanned time. We went from the 1940s all the way through to the 1970s. Some beautiful blouses, some lovely dresses here, gorgeous victory suits, and in a variety of sizes, all the way from 34 up to a 42. So this was a really good haul, in my opinion. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. This is so much fun, and I can't wait to dive into some of these patterns as well as some of the patterns we've unboxed in the past together and start stitching. If you like vintage patterns, if you like sewing, if you like costuming, please hit that like and subscribe button. I would love to have you along with me here on my journey. Thank you guys so much. Bye.